Now that he's pretty much set to leave Manchester United as a free agent, Paul Pogba is a man with options, and it appears that the Frenchman might not be against the idea of making a move that would grant him the status of a pariah at Old Trafford. Following a largely unsuccessful season, Leicester City are bound for a rather turbulent transfer window, which could see them lose some of the main members of their starting 11. But will Brendan Rodgers get the backing he needs from his bosses? Borussia Dortmund are now open to the idea of selling Youssoufa Moukoko during the summer transfer window. The young striker has struggled for game time at the Signal Iduna Park and has already rejected a contract extension. So before we begin, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications, because if you don't, you might end up getting tackled horribly by Pepe the next time that you leave your house. At Borussia Dortmund, we're only talking about Erling Haaland at the moment. The Norwegian striker is likely to leave Germany before flying to other skies. He's been announced with insistence at Manchester City, where he could land in exchange for settling the famous clause of €75 million. In Germany, his natural replacement will not be Youssoufa Moukoko, the great hope of the BVB expected for many years. It is Karim Adeyemi of RB Salzburg who is expected to take on the role of attacking leader. Moukoko is likely to leave 1 year from the end of his contract. It is not obvious that Youssoufa extends with BVB. Yes, he has been set back a bit by injuries this season. Yes, the competition at BVB is of course fierce, but the playing time he needs at the current stage of his career, he is hardly getting to Dortmund at the moment. Of course, we are thinking about what is best for the future, warned his agent Patrick Williams at the start of the year. The trend revealed by Bild last March is confirmed as the Bundesliga season ends in a week. The German daily explains this time that Borussia Dortmund have made up their mind and have now agreed to sell their striker while demanding certain conditions all the same. They want to include a preferential buyout option in a future transfer so as not to completely lose control of their academy product. Initially, a sale would bring in between 15 and 20 million euros, according to Bild, and would make it possible to buy the 17-year-old player at a lower cost if he really explodes, because doubt is allowed after a season marred by injuries and competition. The very successful debut of Youssoufa Moukoko among professionals does not date back to not so long. There is still hope, therefore, that he might end up becoming a huge success. The Europa Conference League was the only way for Leicester to salvage their season, but travelling to Italy, the English club lost in the semi-final second leg against Roma 1-0 and must say goodbye to their dreams of a continental trophy. Crashing out of 2 domestic cups and 11th in the Premier League, the Foxes will not qualify for a European competition next year. We can even say that this season was a complete failure for the Foxes. They had strong, legitimate ambitions because they were coming out of a convincing 2020-21 campaign. During the transfer window, they did not lose any major element and even strengthened with the arrival of Patson Daka from RB Salzburg for €30 million, Boubakary Soumaré from Lille for €20 million, and the giant Yannick Vestergaard, who played for Southampton. Unfortunately, Rodgers couldn't find the right formula. Change is expected this summer. Disappointed, the Northern Irish coach, who's under contract until 2025, is thinking of turning his squad upside down. This already makes it possible to translate a first piece of information. He should stay at the club, his name being mentioned at Tottenham and Manchester United during the season. According to the Daily Mail, he wants to bring in a new central defender, a midfielder with a box-to-box profile, and above all, an attacker, preferably who is able to play on the right side and start immediately. Rodgers feels a page needs to be turned and is ready to part ways with starters like Yuri Tielemans. Linked with big clubs for the next transfer window, the Belgian is coming to the end of his contract in 2023. He will not be renewed and will benefit from an exit voucher. Even more surprisingly, the Foxes will also open the door for 2 other major players, James Maddison and Harvey Barnes. Maddison has a lucrative contract, about €460,000 monthly until 2024, while Barnes is linked to Leicester until 2025. The English club does not necessarily want to part with its 2 attacking midfielders, but sees in their potential sales a means of renewing the workforce with a good financial margin. Finally, other less important players are invited to leave, such as central defender Çağlar Söyüncü, midfielder Hamza Chowdhury, and striker Ayoze Perez. These players are also entering the last year of their contract and have not played a big role this season. They could relaunch elsewhere, which should not be the case for the 3 veterans, Jamie Vardy, Kasper Schmeichel, and Johnny Evans. All at the end of the contract in 2023, only Evans has expressed his desire to extend. For the other two, club legends and champions of England in 2016, it is a little more vague in the long term, but they will still be at the King Power Stadium next season. FC Barcelona, on the lookout for good moves this winter with Xavi as their new coach, quickly snapped up the services of Adama Traore in the form of a loan with an option to buy. Adama Traore has therefore made his return to Catalonia. The native of L'Hospitalet de Llobregat had only played 4 first-team games between 2013 and 2015. He didn't have the same biceps at that time. The youngster from La Masia always knew he would wear the blue and garnet jersey again. I always thought about coming back to Barca from the first minute I left. As I come from Barca, my intention was always to come back. Sometimes different paths are taken, but the important thing is that the goal is the same. I'm here, this is what I wanted, and now I'm going to make the most of it, he confided during his presentation at Camp Nou. This transfer is causing a lot of talk in Spain. The country's media, especially in Madrid, have some doubts about his ability to succeed in La Liga. His percussion game is not suited to the Barcelona tiki-taka philosophy. The Catalan press hailed Joan Laporta's good move on the transfer market with Super Adama. The Blaugrana impressed the Spanish press on their new debut with Barcelona. Adama is the profile that fits perfectly with the attacking football that Xavi wants, said Marca, who even went so far as to tackle those who thought he only had physical qualities and was not compatible with Barca's game. However, things have changed a lot since then. But weeks pass, and the Wolves man is no longer part of Xavi's plans. His last start in the league dates back to February 27th. Ousmane Dembele, in conflict with the club when Adama exploded, resumed his indisputable place on the right flank. Adama is now just a man destined to enter when nothing's at stake. Traore has played just 32 minutes in Catalan's last 3 La Liga outings. Now the local media are backtracking on the winger's future in Catalonia. According to their information, the Barcelona leaders no longer necessarily have a priority to keep him. At the end of the contract at Manchester United, Paul Pogba could simply put his bags down with the neighbours. The midfielder appeals to Manchester City and their manager Pep Guardiola, a mutual interest since the French would be ready to betray the Red Devils. Far from being unanimous on the side of Old Trafford, Paul Pogba could make new enemies during the summer transfer window. His probable departure at the end of the contract would not be the cause. On the contrary, many Manchester United supporters would not complain. On the other hand, fans would have a much harder time accepting his move to their bitter rivals. This is, however, the scenario envisaged by the Daily Mail, which reveals an interest from Man City for the Frenchman. The runaway league leaders are not against the idea of making such a move happen, especially after they crashed out of the Champions League in miserable fashion. Guardiola needs something different in the squad, and he believes that Pogba could be a great solution. Reports claim that the World Cup winner is also eager to stay in the Premier League and believes that he is going to enjoy a lot of success if he moved to the blue side of Manchester. And while such a move would make him the most hated ex-player at Manchester United, we're pretty sure Pogba wouldn't mind that one little bit, because he never really showed a lot of loyalty to his club anyway, during the times when he openly declared his eagerness to walk away from Old Trafford many times.